So I think we all know where we left off, but just to recap, Ads, do you want to do a little
recap? We went on our little coach journey out the city towards some other place. We come up to a toll booth. They were rude, so I didn't help. We got our naughty stuff past them. Then went on our wicked way to the coach stop in the middle of the forest, where we met basically a load of losers that couldn't make it into the proper army, so they were stuck in the coach stop. We kind of talked to them for a bit, all went to bed, nice, simple. The crying baby was really annoying the whole way, but that was that. And then a dog jumped in the window and tried to kill Paul. And then some grubby little oiks set the house on fire. So we beat them all up. But we're trying to escape because there's too many of them. Not enough horses. The horses are on fire. And that's where we left it. We haven't got away.
Horses are on fire. We haven't got away. Yeah. So there's a bunch of dead Ungors around as well, which you've smashed the skulls in of.
Yeah.
There's a few of the dead guards as well who you were with. Ad, you've got one of the guards with you who's alive still. And as it is, there is the coach stop is sort of lightly burning on one side. Just lightly burning. And the
that's character.
Yeah, it's just rustic. And the stables have started to go up quite a lot. Helmet broke the straps trying to fix them on, as I recall.
Yeah.
I'm glad my internet's really poor today. That's good. And then Tom, you ended up getting your horse, didn't you?
I got on my horse, yes. I think that was the point we stopped.
Now we stopped as a Ungor was swinging a club at the baby and the guy.
Yes, that's
end of episode fashion.
Yeah.
Oh, the baby's dead.
Okay. Yeah, so that's where we finished. So we'll cut back in there.
All at the stable, aren't we?
You're all at the stable, yeah. All of you are at the stable. There is one. Your Gerard's there. Werner's there. You don't see the coachman. You haven't seen the coachman. Presumably still inside. You haven't seen the barman or the person who owns the coach stop, basically. Again, presumably still inside. All your stuff is still inside.
Yeah, I was about to go get that.
Yeah.
There are a considerable amount of dead Ungor around, but you can only see one in front of you, and that's the one that's about to hit Werner. And yeah, I might shift where I'm sitting because my internet's really shit up here for some reason. We'll see how it goes.
Not as shit as mine.
Fair. So yeah, that's where we are. The Ungor that is about to hit Werner, as he's about to hit him, Can you guys hear me okay?
Yeah, fine, mate.
Yeah. You're a bit quiet.
Okay, cool, it's just me then. I'm gonna put this on.
Hit him first.
Okay. So as the Ungor goes to hit Werner, the baby screams, and it's enough just to sort of pot the Ungor off for a second. He still swings. He does club Werner, but you can see it's thrown him off a little bit. You know, he's kind of slightly distracted by like the sound it wasn't expecting. But Werner does, however, get hit solidly in the head, and falls to the floor with blood
coming from his head. Doesn't well, I mean, he doesn't look conscious. But he's like, his brains aren't hanging out or anything. He's been knocked to the floor. So that's where we currently are. I think you were top of the initiative, weren't you? Nehemiah was, Paul, you were top of the initiative.
Okay.
There's no more Ungor around, actually, and this one that's on its own seems to have realised that it's on its own. You do know there are a couple in the forest because Tom's been shot by one. But you don't hear the horn anymore that you heard when that's been throughout the fight. So it's up to you how you proceed.
I think he's frozen, isn't he?
Maybe.
I hope he hasn't just been.
just
Deep in thought.
confusion on his face as it's frozen.
Huh?
Like he's having a really long think about his next action.
Maybe he has. We've just lost him. Okay. Well, why? Until we get him back. Mark, Helmet, you're next.
Yeah. Well, I was in the stable trying to fix the horses, wasn't I?
Yeah.
Popped up here. I am going to try and body repair if I can.
Okay. Yeah.
Eventually,
Okay.
possible I could. So that's around. Because looking around, if I'm not hearing the sounds of sort of them fighting or lots of braying, I might be able to do that.
There's one outside, and it's just hit Werner, obviously, and Werner's fallen to the floor. The baby cotter's fallen to the floor, but Tom has also at the same time. Tom has just rode outside on his horse. So
yeah, he's doing his road warden thing. I'm going to try and repair this attack.
Yeah.
What role would you like me to make?
Yeah. Okay. Do a. It's probably animal care again, but I don't know if that's the right thing. I think probably just make. Yeah, maybe animal care, something like that.
Yeah, that's cool because I've got animal care at +3, so that's
Rather
fine.
you just kind of put in the thing back on. So
Right?
Yeah.
don't think it'd be ride. No, that's
Ride.
like actually. Yeah, I guess ride if you've got it. Maybe it's just kind of have the skill to be able to do stuff. It's really just a sort of dex check. So
yeah. Okay, cool. Any modifiers +20 or?
it's pretty hard actually because you've just snapped it. So you are trying to jab it back in. So
For my life. Yeah.
Am I in twice now?
you are in twice.
You
now.
are, but only one of you's moving.
I can get
Will
rid
the
of
real Paul frame please look up and to the right?
I can get rid of the other one. It's fine.
I don't.
For the other one.
It's
Yeah.
fine.
It would be great as if the real
Cool.
Paul frame was
So animal care would put me. I've made 2 degrees of success. I rolled a 15.
Yeah. Okay. So while let's go, you see what you actually snapped. Is it's actually fairly easy. It was the buckle, so it's actually fairly easy for you to kind of like jimmy it back, basically. Oh, he'll come back. Yeah, so you do manage to fix that. You don't know how long it will hold, but you know it will hold. It'll probably hold for a bit. You'll probably get the horses out. The horses are connected to it now.
Cool.
So yeah, that's that. But that will be your turn, basically.
Yeah, that's absolutely fine. Yeah, I was expecting that.
Yeah. So you sort of fix the thing back on.
And this was the rear carriage. This is the one that had all the sort of our stuff, but also Werner's like tailoring stuff and things.
That's right. Yep. So that's that. So basically, the horses are now connected to that. You'll probably want to get them out in the next turn because there's quite a bit of fire now.
Yep.
And I'm going to roll like a cool check for them just to see sort of how panicked they are, basically.
I imagine they're quite hot.
Yeah, they're not doing. It's a big stable. It's a bit, there was room for 3 coaches in there, and there's only 2 in there, so there is some room for them to get away from it at the moment. But their call's not great, so they're panicking quite a bit at the moment. Right, there he is.
Right.
I think that's me sorted.
Okay, cool.
My Wi-Fi's back on now.
Cool. So what you just missed was Helmet repairing the broken strap on the thing. Did you get the bit with Werner?
I did not get the bit where you asked me what I was going to do. I explained it in eloquent detail.
Fantastic.
Without realising it froze.
Yeah, all we had was a frozen picture. So Werner got hit in the head. Werner got donked in the head by the uncle.
I got to that bit, yeah.
Okay, cool. So,
Muted babies on the floor. Yeah.
Babies on the floor, yeah. And Gerard obviously screams and goes to make his way out. But then Helmet spent some just like started fixing the thing. There's one Ungor out there. It is actually your go, Tom. Rolled.
Thanks, Mark.
It's your go.
Okay. So I think I am going to attempt to try and ride down this Ungor that is very near us. Try and drive it away.
Yep.
Try and hit out at it.
Yep. So a charge gives you +10 to hit.
Okay.
I think mounted combat actually gives you +20. So I think if you charge on a horse, you're at +30. Which makes
that does
sense.
not matter.
Well, it doesn't matter to roll. No, he's not looking at Ungor. He's going to fucking drive it into a wall.
Okay. So a melee basic.
Yep, melee basic. Yep.
Okay.
Let's go.
So I was aiming for 80 or less.
Yep.
I've rolled 44,
Okay.
which will be a critical.
That is critical indeed. And it has scored 39, so it's trying to dodge out the way rather than kind of parry you, basically. So it actually fails by 1 degree, and you hit by 4 degrees. Is that correct?
3, I think.
Yeah, it's a crit hit as well, isn't it? Yeah.
Because it's a critical hit that succeeded, we're just going to call those kills on mobs, basically.
Yep.
So you can have a suitably cinematic way of destroying this last Ungor that you can see.
Most certainly, my horse rears up. It goes bah! As its hooves crash down. Oh, hang on, wait, it's melee, isn't it? So my horse rears up as I swipe off, taking off its head.
Fantastic.
Its body crumples to the ground beneath my horse's hooves.
Yep, it falls next to Werner. Its little tongue rolls out as his head rolls off. And you hear off in the distance, actually, a kind of a fairly panicked, like if you've heard the sound of sheep running away in a field, it sounds like that. Don't ask why I know that noise.
Well, you're from Essex, aren't you? Deepest, darkest, Woking.
Yeah, just running around. Wakering, mate.
Wakering, that's it.
Woking.
Woking.
Yeah, Woking's very different to Essex.
It's got like this lovely Pizza Express there. Yeah, okay, so there is currently nothing around. You don't have, there's no arrows have come flying in, which is the first time that's happened for about 2 minutes. You don't see any other living things. However, it's still the middle of the night. You've probably got maybe 2 hours till sunup, maybe. The barn's on fire. There's some fire coming from the coach stop. Werner is trying to rouse, Gerard is trying to rouse Werner, unsuccessfully at the moment. And we'll come out of combat time because there's no combat around at the moment. So we'll go into sort of narrative time. So what do people want to be doing at the moment?
I want to go over to my good friend Gerard, who loves a cuddle from me, and
Yep.
go, "Can I help you? Let me take the baby."
Yeah.
We got him drunk last night, didn't we?
Oh yeah,
I got him drunk. I was all flirty, just the right amount, handsy.
Yep. Yeah, he's actually he's actually more concerned with Werner.
That's what I thought, which means
Yep.
like, baby. Woo.
Yep. So you've now got the carriage, the little cot that it's in, basically. Werner is. You can see that he's actually alive. He's moving certainly, but he doesn't look particularly well. So that's your helmet rolled. Bert.
Supposed to get the horses ready and out. See what I can do.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I mean, if you want, to just get them out. Basically, do a animal handling. Do you have animal handling?
No.
That's not the same as animal care.
Or animal care? Sorry. Yeah.
No.
Do you have a ride?
Hey, horse, come with me.
do you have ride?
I've got ride. I'm really good at riding.
Bet you
If
are.
you-
I'll have to feed them or take
I
care
mean, I think just getting some horses out of a stable is fine. Like you can wheel them. They want to get out basically.
Yeah,
I literally,
they're quite keen.
just did it. I literally just got a horse I don't know out of a stable, so can't
Just do a strength check because they are kind of
get up.
pick it up. You get a horse. Do a strength check just to kind of see because they're sort of bucking and they're not in great. Just see if they throw you off basically.
Oh, I failed by 2 points. Couldn't pick the horse up.
Okay, you don't pick it up. You can't pick it up. It's too big. But as you're kind of as they're dragging you out, they're panicking quite a lot. And one's going to give you like a bit of a little headbutt and just take a point of damage from a little horsey headbutt.
Right, that's right.
Yeah. So currently you've got
One dead horse.
you got the cart that rolls helmet's just fixed. Sorry. And you've just bring the other two horses, just the horses out. Is that right?
Well, the one live horse and one dead horse.
Drag that one out. Are you going to try and connect them to the other carriage or?
I'll get them all out first. But yeah.
Okay, yeah, fair. So yeah,
The front carriage was just like a people carriage, wasn't it? It was just
basically,
like
you get two. Well, there was two people in it. You could probably get 3 people in it.
To be honest, once we've got that cart out,
yeah,
I'm gonna look to go back into the tavern to get our stuff.
Yeah, okay.
Try and wake the innkeeper as well, because he might be in there just asleep and burning.
I'm gonna try and get everything out of the burning stable as best I can.
Yeah, okay.
And
Yeah, go on.
yeah, so I wish to try and make a circuit of the tavern on my horse. I think probably doing a leadership, rallying, I think, everybody who may be about inside, dying, whatever,
Okay.
to us to try and gather the group and the extended party together.
So this is more a kind of look at me thing and rallying people rather than like you're not doing a patrol, are you? You're doing a kind of rally call is what you want to do, yeah?
Yes, yeah, most certainly not relying on my perception.
Yeah. Do a leadership check at you're a horseman and these are the only people around are less than you, so get +10.
Ooh, I just passed.
Okay, nice.
So, one success.
That's the skill.
So you actually, as you're kind of running around rallying, you see another figure that comes out of the forest, holding a bow. You probably look a bit panicked at first until you realise it's actually it's a human. It's one of the ones that you saw out on the road. They'd clearly been just hiding under a bush, but you're rallying call. They're like, "Oh, we thought everyone was dead." Oh, and they sort of come running towards you. Where are the rest? And he sort of spots some of the dead on the floor. You're like the other side of the stables at the moment. You're the other side of the thing. Thank you, sir. Is everyone else gone?
Sorry, it's me.
Yeah.
We are by the stables. Come round, we'll leave.
Yeah, you're so authoritative. He doesn't question it at all. He's like, so he sort of puts his bow onto his back, and he's scabbard like a boss. Quiver, scabbard, whatever. And then
I found a coward in the bush.
And they runs over. So he comes. So you see another person. You're there. Anyone who's around by the stable sees another person come running around. If you want them to help out what you're doing, basically just to make it easier, they do so. But I'm guessing they're probably going to help you like get the horses out and stuff. You've also got the other young one there as well. So there's a few of you sort of getting stuff out now. The carts don't seem damaged yet. You got quite lucky with where they were. Who was going back inside? Was it? Okay. As you get inside, it's the like smoke is starting to fill it quite a bit now. So roll an endurance check. think we've lost Paul again. Oh, no, he's back.
No, okay.
He's just perfectly still.
No, I was thinking.
Can you say endurance?
Passed by 2 degrees again. I got a 15 that time.
Okay. Yeah, it's fine. It's pretty smoky in there. But you make your way through. You're for whatever reason, to keep low and the smoke's going up. Are you making your way up to your room? Are you? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So you make your way up to your room, and as you get sort of close by the room opposite, you can hear coughing and spluttering, and someone comes staggering out. And it is the other coachman.
Okay.
Who's and with that role, like I say, you've got there more than enough time to kind of drag him out and help him out if you want to. But yeah,
okay. Does he need help getting out?
He doesn't look great. He looks like he's breathed in quite a bit of smoke because he was the side that was getting set fire on. But he looks like he'll probably make it. He can walk.
Yeah, I'm going to sort of direct him to saying we're outside, it's safe, get to the stable, and then I'm going to carry on. I'm not spending much time with him.
Yep, he staggers his way out. He's sort of slung it. He's got a small lot of stuff on his back. It looks like he actually had his bag and stuff ready, so he probably wasted time getting stuff. So that's why he didn't get out. Yeah, and you get into your room. You see the corpse of the horrible mutant dog in there, with a horrible black blood pouring out onto the floor from it. But all your stuff is there.
Cool. I'll pick up my stuff. Do I have any spare hands, or can I carry anyone else's stuff?
What stuff is it? It's just packs, isn't it? Really,
just packs. I know we by the window. So I seem to remember from the diagram with the window right by the stables anyway. So
that is true.
Just be yoinked out the window down to where we are.
Yeah.
Absolutely fair. Yep. If you want,
did someone throw a sword at the dog to kill it?
No, stabbed it.
It stabbed it. All right, cool. Yeah.
So yeah, if you want to start handballing stuff out, there's enough people. There's the guards and stuff are out, so you can get all your stuff out basically.
Yeah.
You still haven't seen the person who owns the coach stop, and you haven't heard them. So where they are, if you want to search them, you're more than welcome. The place is sort of starting to go up now. Yeah, fair enough. Fuck them. Fuck them. Only gave me shelter for the night, didn't they, pricks?
We paid for it, didn't we?
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
If they'd have paid us for the increased protection insurance, I'd have been looking for them. Right?
I thought, mate.
On that note, where do they keep the money?
Go behind the bar. Yeah.
So you come back down, and presumably you've handballed all the stuff out. The tavern is starting to go up now, but you got a good check on your endurance, so you're fine out of there. And you've got the carts outside of the what's it called? Coach stop stables. There we go.
Gerald, I'll just get the baby secure and I'll come and help you with work. Huh?
So Werner is sort of groggily coming round now. So it's been a couple of minutes now. Werner's sort of groggily coming round, but he doesn't seem with it at all. Like he's obviously taken quite a bad smack to the head, basically.
I'll come and help him with you and you with him in a second. I've just popped the baby on.
Just do what? Sorry.
I'm just going to pop the baby on the cart.
Oh, okay.
And have a wee look.
Yep. Okay. Okay. What are you just having a look at the baby?
I'm just going to open it up and have a look at the baby. Just unwrap it a little bit. Like, is there 6 arms or scales or?
It's pretty dark. It's pretty, but there's quite a lot of fire around. So I will send you a little picture, Mr. Frayne, so you can see.
Thank you very much.
It's got your face.
Yeah, I send a little picture of your face.
Oh, my mutant face.
Yeah, of your little mutant face.
No, it's a baby with you, Paul Frayne's face.
Oh, that would be a mutant face.
Yeah, I mean, it'd be weird to see a 40-year-old man's head on a baby's face. Like, that would be weird. I wouldn't like.
Oh, quite 40-year-old man.
Well, I've just sent you a little PM, Mr. Frayne, so you can see exactly.
Medium have you sent
on your FUBA.
Thank you.
On your messenger, you can see on there. So he takes the baby over and starts sorting it out.
It's not come through yet. But I'll
Okay.
wait.
Okay. What's everyone else? Are you just kind of rallying up and
Yeah, getting ready to ride straight out. Putting some clothes on.
Yeah, I mean, you've probably got time. Like, you've got time to get out, and there's a little bit of rain starting to come down now. which is quite nice. It's not heavy, but it's quite a light rain. It should have come through to your messenger, Mr. Frame, by the way.
Not yet, no.
Oh, that's rubbish. Yeah, so you should. There's a sort of light rain coming down now. It's not enough to put the fires out, but it is enough to start making you a bit damp.
As I am taking the baby away, just before I look at it, I do say to my good friend and drinking pal, Berth, fairly sure there were bows and crossbows around if we need them.
Yeah, I'm gonna go. I saw one in that cabin. Let me get. So I'll go and get. I did see one. Did the old guy have a crossbow as well?
He did have a crossbow.
Yeah, and then he died. He
didn't have it on him when you dragged him back. If you want to go out into the forest a bit to look for it, you're welcome to. But he didn't have it on him when he was dragged back in.
I have a little look, but not a big look.
Okay. Roll a perception if you know where the bow is. Roll a perception if you want to go looking out for the crossbow. It's going to be quite hard. It's just a challenging one actually because it's night. It's there's.
Ooh, Bert's not good at this. Nope.
No. Okay. So you go and have a look around, but you're a bit rushed basically. So I'm just going to share this picture because.
Right, I shoot helmet with the bow.
You shoot helmet. Okay, that's fine. I'm just going to make this easier. I'm going to put a link in the chat because I don't think Mr. Frame's messenger's working.
No, it doesn't appear to be.
But no one else is allowed to click it.
I know what his face looks like.
Yeah, so you sort of mounting up on the cars, you hanging around a bit, are you staying here for the night? What's your plan, peeps?
I'm going to suggest that we head out.
There you go, Frame. That in the group chat is just for you, in the stingy chat.
Yeah, I'm going to suggest Roll being a road warden sort of leads us ahead. But
I see.
I'm going to suggest we don't hang around because they're probably going to come back.
Okay. The coachman is staggering out and he kind of helps you get stuff ready. Werner's not looking great. He needs to be helped into the cart by Gerard. He looks really confused. He's looking around for something, but he can't really speak properly. He's obviously taken quite a bad blow to the head. Werner helps him into the front cart. What was the front cart?
Which is where I've put the baby.
Yeah. Okay. Are you in the front cart as well?
I might stay in there as well. Yeah.
There's enough. There is enough room. It's tight, but there is enough room for Free and the baby and you. And then, Mr. The rest of you sort of mount up on the other one.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool. Who's going to be driving? Who's driving the car?
I'll drive it. That's basic. Okay. It's a basic skill, isn't it?
Yeah, it drives basic skill.
Yeah, I'll drive you.
Okay.
I'm trying to show no reaction to what I've seen.
Yeah. Can you roll an endurance check, just out of interest?
Me?
Yeah.
Probably not. What is that? Oh, that is very low. Oh no, 1 degree success.
Okay, cool. Yeah, it's fine. It's not necessary for that, but
no, that would be cool. That would be cool, wouldn't it? I'm slowly learning this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you've had a shit night, everyone. You did get some sleep, so you're not absolutely ruined, but you're not great. Tom, you still have an arrow sticking out of you.
Yeah.
Which you may want someone to deal with, maybe. Actually, the one that came out the forest offers to be able to take it out for you. Because you can't ride along with it sticking in you because he explained, it'll get infected and that's bad. They do offer to take it out if you want to.
I think I will go with that offer before we get going.
Yeah. So before you get going, so they kind of steady themselves against you, and they not like when Bert's friend just yanked it out. They clearly know a little bit about what they're doing. They do pull it out. It doesn't cause any more damage. You're bleeding a bit from it, but not profusely. So as long as you kind of patch it up, which they just sort of stuff it with something at the moment. Just patch it over with some cloth. Just as there's no one here's got any bandages or anything. There's nothing here really. If you want to spend some time looking for stuff, you can.
Off the back of this car.
There is a lot of cloth in the back of the car. That is true.
So,
if it looks like we're not under sort of any imminent sort of danger, I am going to sort of pop, if sort of the rush has slowed down, I'm going to pop back into the tavern so if you can find anyone else.
Yep, okay.
Premise of safety in numbers.
And get some booze to clean the wounds.
The tavern's quite smoky now, so you'll probably need to take another endurance check. This is going to be saving a challenging now because there's quite a lot of smoke in there now.
Okay, so is that a basic?
Just standard, yeah, standard 0.
No, and I'm not going to bother at fortune, so I'm going to assume it sort of takes me, the smoke's too much to back
Yeah,
out.
I think so. Yeah, I think as you go to get in, there's just too much smoke, and it's just not worth your time, really. You could go in, but you might end up injuring yourself and stuff like that. So presumably you're heading off down the road.
Yeah.
Unless anyone wants to do any more searching or anything.
No, I think I'm quite keen to move on.
Yeah. Okay.
Get that charge out of here.
So yeah, that it's a couple of hours till sunup, and you're probably about 6 hours from Owlswold at the moment, which is what was explained to you yesterday. So as you make it out into the road, it's not a great night. The Moor's-Leap is slightly bigger than it was the night before, which is particularly worrying for some of you, probably. In fact, for most of you, it's not great. It's a forest in the Empire, so you can hear howls out in the forests. They're pretty untamed, but you don't come under any further attacks, not for the first couple of hours. And then as the sun starts to come up, you can see, still fair way off in the distance, the town of Owlswold.
Are we able to sleep in the back of the car?
I think you could probably take. It's probably not comfortable, but if you want to take it's like sleeping on an aeroplane basically. But yeah, you could probably get a bit of sleep on the back if you wanted to. Paul, you're in the front one, aren't you?
Yeah.
Werner starts to come round probably after a few hours. He's a bit more with it, and he kind of looks around and he as he sees that you're in the front, he panics. He's almost like he's seen you there for a while, but he's just realised you're there, if you know what I mean.
It's okay.
And he's like, what is everyone? And he looks down at the baby and he sees that it's not been disturbed. It's there. It's fine. There's no fucking axe in it or anything. And he's like, oh, thank you, sir. And he sort of cradles it back up, but he's still very groggy. He's slurring his words.
I'm only here because you took a big blow to the head and I'm making sure that you and the baby are okay. Mostly you at the moment.
He thanks you. Oh, thank you. I don't even know your name, but thank you. And he's still slurring, but he looked great. The bump on his head is not good. You don't need to be a physic to see that he definitely needs medical attention. But for now, he seems okay. Gerard is sort of starting to snooze in the corner a little bit. He's had a pretty bad day, as you all have.
And you had a lot to drink.
He did have a lot to drink, actually. He had a whole pint. So, you do have other than that, it is a fairly uneventful ride. If some of you want to try and sleep, then that's fine. It's probably not particularly restful sleep, but you can get some. And then a little while after sunup, you start to come to the gates of Owlswold. You can see them off in the distance. And I will describe to you Owlswold. Ta-da! We've made it. Well done, everyone.
Do we level up?
You immediately level up. Do you go and become a Dragonborn Paladin or something?
Yeah, that's smart.
That sounds about right, doesn't it?
Just for now.
Right. Let's start off. Right. Let me find my little description of Ours World. And this is where I'm going to...
Both the gate, I say, for the horror.
A little shout out to Mr. Raff, because we're going to do one of his little ideas in a minute.
Oh, I saw you talking about this.
Yeah. So those of you who rode in the back of the coach are, unless you had something to cover yourself up with, you're drenched with rain, by the way, because it rained for a good lot of the way there. Those of you who rode on in the front, probably fine. As you approach the town, you can see that much of Oswald is actually built on thick stilts, as it's over a floodplain of one of the large rivers in the Empire, the River Tufel, if you want to know what it's called. There is a bewildering labyrinth of ramps, bridges, rope ladders, all sorts that make up this town. It's still quite large. There is a large wooden wall around the whole town, but it's maybe, if you're not used to towns that are built like this, it is fairly unique in the way it's made up, unless you go out to the marshlands. There are a few stone buildings that you can see. These are generally on raised areas of earth, so they're protected from the river, which you can see at the moment is flooded over because of last night's heavy rain. You can see people in the distance going about their business, and they don't actually seem too distressed by the fact that the river's flooded. Presumably it's actually a fairly common occurrence. So you can see a few stone buildings. One of them is very clearly a temple of some kind, which all of you would have seen temples in the Empire. It's actually a temple to Shallya, which you all would have seen at some point. But there is another stone building there that draws your eye. And I am going to ask Mr. Bert to tell us what that building is.
So another stone building.
Yeah.
It's actually quite ornately decorated at the front.
Okay.
And from the kind of people you see going in and out of it, it's clearly a place of commerce and perhaps a bank of sorts, somewhere where people would go to trade and make agreements. Some of these types of buildings might also double up as a house of law as well. Yep.
Okay. I like it being a bank of commerce. That's a really good idea, actually. For a large river town, that works. And commerce stuff. That's really cool. Yep. So you can see there's a big sort of sign, a coin, like a golden coin, like a way too large Rakeland coin hanging up there. That you can see. You can see that building as well. Presumably, probably quite a bit of money comes through here. So that's not that sort of building wouldn't be particularly common. So that's good. That's exciting.
Robert.
Really
easy to rob. Let's go high.
As you get close to the town, you see the entrance of the road you've come in is two really hefty looking wooden oak doors, and the palisade. You can see the low wooden palisade standing around. There's a couple of grumpy looking guards who are wearing really large wide brimmed hats, which is keeping the rain off their faces, and they're also carrying spears that they look like they're probably more suited to fishing rather than fighting. And also, you do notice sitting atop the palisade, sort of almost sitting above the gates, actually, is what looks like a child sitting above there. The closer you get, however, you see they're actually a halfling, and they're just casually picking their fingers with a short knife. They're probably around 50 meters away, and they look down at you and they smile, and then they just kind of roll off the back of the palisade and head off into the town. I was
going to try and make eye contact. If you sort of cast eye my way, I'm going to sort of hold eye contact more than be a little bit passing.
Yeah, he holds eye contact and he eyes you, and he smiles, he nods, and he sort of gets a measure of you, and then heads off back into the town, basically. Mm-hmm. And the guards stop you, and they as you approach. Are you riding up front, Rold?
Yes, I will be. Yes.
Okay. And they see the sort of state you're in. Obviously you're still bleeding. The carts have burn marks on them, and they rush over. They're like, "Oh, travellers! Oh, let's help you. Please come in. Are you okay?" And you can hear that. This is happening outside the coach, Nehemiah, and you hear Werner groggily tells you, "We we have to get to the Sisters of Shallya.
Okay, I pop my head out and go, we need to get to the Sisters of Shallya. I've got someone quite severely injured here.
And the guards look over. Oh, of course, sirs, of course. Can we take your carts for you? They look generally helpful. They're
He's not going to be able to walk. We need to take this cart as close as we can to it.
You can't take the cart through because of the way the town's done, because it's all on stilts, and it's all built on stilts and wooden platforms and stuff. So you can't actually ride a horse. If the river wasn't flooded, you probably could.
Palanquin? Is that the word I'm looking for?
It is the word you're looking for. You could make one.
No, I couldn't.
No, I mean you couldn't.
I couldn't.
He can probably walk, but
Okay.
you will need to help. You know, he's
Yeah, I'll help him. Baby in one hand, the other hand.
he did walk to the cart. He got carried to the cart. So you are currently at the gates of thing. They are sorting your carts for you.
I'm taking the parcels off the back.
Yeah, okay, that's fine.
Just not looking suspicious, not trying to hide it, just acting like it's me picking up some parcels.
Yeah, no one's your traders coming in. Everyone would assume that you would have gone past the toll roads. So, why would they check when you come in? Because that's what the tolls do. And you take your parcel. I'm assuming you put it in your backpack or something, or put it in your little backpack. Okay, so you are at the you're at the gates, yep. And do you want to head towards the temple, which is the last stone? There's a couple, you can see the temple. You can also see you see lots and lots of buildings around from where you are. You see the bank, which you presume is a bank that we described just now. There's also like closer to the sort of back where there's sort of larger buildings, larger wooden buildings are higher, which is probably warehouses and stuff like that. Presumably you want to go to the temple, but if you want to go somewhere else, that's absolutely fine.
I think I will. So there are some guards on the gate, aren't there?
Yeah, there are. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think I'll make it clear to them that we want to head towards the temple, but I think also that we'd want to speak with someone in the town about obviously the attack on that way house. Obviously, it's not very far away, so obviously there's potential concern for the town should those beastmen follow us or come out.
Well, they speak to you actually. They're like, "What? You were attacked? Where?"
A small warehouse, not 7 or 8 hours ride back up the road towards where we were.
Kemperbad.
Kemperbad, yes.
What? Not old Jeremiah's one.
Yes, Jeremiah. Yes, sadly.
And
I don't think Jeremiah made it.
Oh, he makes a little Moore's Raven symbol. And he's bad business that, but you all look mostly all right. How many were there?
It was dark. They came in the night. There were hounds. We put down a good half dozen, maybe more of them, but many fled into the woods.
Oh, that's. They must be getting brave if they're attacking a guarded coach house like that. Something must have driven them out. But thanks for the warning. We'll keep our scouts. We'll send them a message. You probably saved some lives here. Thank you.
These goods need to be stored. Gerard, where are they going?
The master. And he gets out his little kind of notepad.
You deal with that. I'll take the master up to the church.
He actually just tells them where to go. He just gives them a cut. Yeah, I mean,
I'm trying to get rid of him.
Oh, okay. Do a yeah, if you want to actually try and get rid of it, because he just want to tell them where to go. But if you actually want to sort of make him not be there, how do you want to do it? You can charm him. You can intimidate him.
I'm going to charm him. Okay. I've spent time building that up.
Get him.
Yeah, fair. Go for a charm check. He quite likes you actually. He sort of trusts you. You seem pretty on the ball with the stuff you want to do. So do it at +20.
+20. 1 degree of success.
I should really come with you.
Well, you know where we're going, and if the master's livelihood is gone, then he can't look after the baby at all.
And he immediately sees the sense in what you're. Yeah, of course. Shall I meet you at the temple then?
Yes, absolutely. That's where we're going. We'll wait. Yeah. It's not. It's going to take a while for him to heal, so we'll be there.
Yep. So he sort of speaks to the guards, and they call over a couple of not like just people that lug boxes, basically. Like they're the huffers, I think they're called. They're professionally taking boxes, and they call some of those over, and they start to take them into the town. Gerard goes with them. He obviously wants to make sure that it gets to where it needs to go. They do seem to be going off to like the kind of housing district. So that's where they seem to, what looks like are houses where they're going. But do you want to go with them, or are you all going to the temple, or somewhere different?
I will head to the temple. I'm
definitely going to the temple.
Yeah, you all blow up. It's the Temple of Doom.
Again,
so it's a short walk across town. You're going across sort of rickety bridges, and luckily there's no ladders, like rope ladders to climb, but there's quite a few wooden ramps and stuff you have to climb up. It's not a particularly easy journey there. It's actually made quite a bit harder by the fact that you're having to pretty much carry Werner. He's struggling, but he's awake, and he's a bit more compos mentis than he was earlier. You can see that the temple in the distance, it is one, as I said, it's one of the few stone buildings. It's actually up on a raised mound. The river does run quite close to it. The river actually runs through a small sort of garden they have out the back, but it is protected from the flooded river. However, it's not actually as large as some temples you've seen. It's pretty sizable, but it's not huge. It does look fairly, not new is a relative term, I guess, but it looks like one of the newer buildings in the town. The stone doesn't look it doesn't look hundreds and hundreds of years old. It's not as large as some you've seen, but it can probably fit a couple of hundred people in, you would guess. And it's certainly one of the bigger buildings in the town, though. It does, however, have a distinct feature, which you may not have seen on other temples of Shallya. And Mr. Frayne can tell me what that distinct feature is.
So I think it's very much linked to the fact that this is kind of like a river town type stuff. So
Okay.
with that, whatever kind of like Shallya's feature is, like as it's going, it's almost like a water feature that's coming out in the shape of the local kind of tributaries, the healing.
Okay, so there's a huge dove statue out the back, and a pond that leads directly out to the river. Connects the river, that work?
That sort of thing, yeah.
Okay, nice. Yeah, that's quite, that's quite unusual. These kind of large ornamentations are quite unusual. They do have one here. As you approach the temple, you get closer, you can see there is a sizable crowd outside the foot of the temple, and there's a woman standing at the gates of the temple looking down at them. There's sort of wooden steps that go up to the temple. You can see her, she's shaking her head calmly, and she's gesturing to a figure that's standing at the front of the crowd. And the figure's leading the crowd, from what you can see. It actually seems quite calm as well. You can't quite hear what they're saying unless you want to approach closer. Does anyone want to roll a perception plus 20 check?
Yeah, why not?
Three success.
4 degrees of success.
Okay.
2 degrees of failure.
Bad, sorry. 4 degrees of success.
Are you actually kidding me, Tom? Good Lord. Okay. Anyone who passed will see the man at the front. It was quite hard to see through the crowd, but you can see him. He's wearing a long brown coat, some dark leather armor, not dark blade style, like brown leather. He has a sword. His scabbard sheathed at his side, and he has a small shoulder pad with the symbol of the twin-tailed comet blazoned upon it. Anyone who you all pass quite well. So he is, from his dress, you would assume, someone from the Templars of Sigmar, who are otherwise known as witch hunters. Do you want to approach closer?
No,
Stay where you are.
no, I do not.
Yes, I think I will forge our way forward. I guess through the crowds because we're intent on going to the temple.
Yeah.
It means going past the hunters or at least near them. I'm fine to press on.
So yes, the closer you get, you can hear the man at the front speaking. He's speaking calmly, but he's fairly confident. He's not being aggressive. He's not really raising his voice, but he's holding himself very well. And he says, Sister Francesca, I've not come here to persecute you. I've simply come to enact the holy will of Sigmar. You barring us from this place will not sit well with my superiors. I ask only that you allow me entrance to your temple, as is proper and right, so that I can reassure my masters that all is well and good, as I'm sure it is. And you see her, she sighs and she looks quite tired by him. I'll show you a picture of them both in a second. In fact, I can show you a picture of them now while I've got it open. Where have you gone? There he is. So let's get you back up. Yeah, so like she's thinking about what this guy's saying. There's not raised voices yet, but there's clearly some tension there. Anyone who you can tell there's a bit of tension going on. There we go. Share my screen, please. Share my screen. Can you see this guy?
Yeah.
Okay, so there he is. Nice young looking witch hunter. And then also, if I can find her, this is the sister of Shallya.
Mm-hmm.
As you can probably guess, she doesn't look like she's from Rakeland. And you hear her reply to him. Now, when she replies, it is in a Chilean accent. It's a very soft Chilean accent, but it is Chilean. And she says, I've told you before, young Tomasz, if your masters truly have concerns, then they would not waste your time and mine by sending an apprentice to do their work for them, would they? I will not have a still-footed child stomping through my temple and interrupting Shallya's calm, and your presence here is already disrupting the healing of many. I shall not risk any more of my children's recovery simply because your overzealous master wishes to stamp his authority on my temple. Now I shall stay no more in this matter. But if you wish to raise blade to a sister of the dove, then so be it. But I suspect that would not be your wisest career choice, and I bid you good day. And she just turns and closes the temple doors. You see the man at the front, who you now know is called Tomasz, pops his hand to the hilt of his sword, doesn't draw it, and the crowd are sort of reluctantly you hear a few jeers and hisses from the crowd. And he turns to look at them and shakes his head and just puts his hands up, basically, and just says, disperse, this is done. And he actually has quite an authoritative voice, despite being quite young and calmly spoken. And they it looks like the ruckus is gone, and they sort of start going about their business a little bit. But you're outside. He's kind of dispersed the crowd a little bit. The gates of the temple the doors of the temple even are closed. And he just sort of looks a bit frustrated outside the gates.
What was the sister's name again?
Sister Francesca.
Francesca, yes.
I whisper to the three of them, can one of you deal with him so I can get Werner in? Probably not Raoul. You also need to get in there.
Come with me. We shall try and get entry to the temple. Both myself and Werner need healing. And I guess we stride forwards.
Mm-hmm.
You're muted.
You're mute.
He doesn't stop you. He lets you go past.
Can't.
He can't stop you. but he does sort of look you up and down. If you weren't very clearly bleeding, both of you, he might question it. But he doesn't really question you going past. He gives Nehemiah a bit of a weird look, but nothing that's particularly out of the ordinary. And he looks at but as you kind of step to go past, he does look at you and he says, "Sirs, are you going into the temple?"
We've come to seek the healing that the sisters here offer. We've been attacked on the road on our journey here last night.
Foul beast.
And he, as the sort of the sign, he makes the comment. You see, he clenches his fist at the sign of that. Still looks quite calm though. He said, "Then Sigmar truly has blessed you to deliver you here. Then I'm glad that he saw fit to send you. It's a shame that Sister Francesca is so stubborn in her worship of the dove. If you can perhaps talk some sense into her, it would certainly go down well with my masters in Diesdorf. She's a difficult one."
What's the matter? It's not often to see arguments between the Temple of Shallya. They're fairly inoffensive. What's she done to arouse your master's suspicions?
Nothing. Quite the opposite. And he looks really resigned. What you say, he says, "There's no suspicion on the Temple of Shallya at all. In fact, no more than anyone else in this town. I'm an apprentice of the order, and they've sent me here as a routine job to just hone my skills and to search around the town and just to make sure that everything here, especially the places of worship and commerce, are appropriate and free of corruption. It's a very normal day-to routine job for those of my level within the order. But I saved the Temple of Shallya for last because I thought it would be the most simplest for me before I must leave in a couple of hours. But it has turned out to be the most troublesome place that I've come across, even worse than those the moot folk over in the warehouses. It's curious, and I'm at my end, I'm afraid.
If you are still an apprentice, you'll have much to learn. See it as a test of Sigmar.
Perhaps that is what it is, and yes, thank you for your words. But still, if you can talk around, then perhaps I can return another day. Of course, if you do find anything, he looks a bit jokingly actually. So if you do find anything, you can find me in Diesdorf. My masters are always happy to understand anything about town. Any information can be of use. And he sort of nods to you, and he puts his hand out. Tomasz Becker. Give you a little handshake if you want to.
I will. Obviously, slightly pained from my injuries, but yes, I'll extend a hand.
Thank you, sirs. Thank you, and may Sigmar guide you forever. The baby starts crying, and he sort of looks down at you. He looks at Nehemiah. Who else is with? It's just he looks at Nehemiah, looks at the baby, Werner, and he sort of pricks his ears. Is your child sick, sir?
That was the original reason that our employer was having a traffic, so hence we're just going to go in.
Then
it's a much more difficult road than we expected it to be.
Then please, I will not take any more of your time, lest the Fly Lords take his hold over this child. And he steps to the side and.
Thank you, Hanson. Have a good day. Bye.
So yeah, you go to the temple door. It is closed. And as you knock on the door, you hear from inside, "I've told you, witch hunter, you cannot come in here. Return to me with your master or not at all."
I'm not the handsome but annoying witch hunter. I'm the handsome man with friends looking for healing.
And you sort of don't hear anything. I mean, a little thing opens in the door. "Yes, Before you can speak, Werner says, sort of perks at you, I bring a black feather for the dove. And she looks quite shocked. Unbolts the
I pick
door.
up the box.
Yeah, unbolts the door and hurries you in, basically. Are you all going in as a group, or?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, so as you get inside, it does look like a fairly standard temple of Shallya. None of you are well traveled. You know, there's some bits here that look a little bit out of place for Reichland. But you know that Shallya is one of the old gods, is one of what they call the classic gods. So unless you spent a lot of time in temples of Shallya, you might not know that it's slightly different. But she speaks to you and she hurries you in and says, quickly, you bring a poor child with you. And Werner kind of like nods. He's still slurring, doesn't look great. And she looks at all of you. And these people here, what are they to you? And he can barely speak actually now. He's sort of struggling a bit, and she looks at you.
He employed us with his guards. We got attacked by some bat beast and he's taken a big blow to his head. Since then, I have looked after the baby that he wished to bring to the temple, but him and my colleague here need healing. I can say with the baby while we deal with that, but I don't think he's not doing so well.
So she looks to you and she thanks you. She's thank you all. You have truly shown the mercy of Shallya. But if this child is truly to be healed, if it is a blackened feather, then know that we shall do all that we can to bring Shallya's mercy to the young one. But even if the purest Shallya cannot bring her doves to save it, then it shall be kept here until it passes into Moor's garden, or it chooses another life. It can never be yours again to hold. Do you understand? And when she speaks, she's very like, she has a really reassuring voice. Like, she obviously really knows what she's doing. You all feel really comfortable around her. None of you, in fact, yeah, all roll a cool check actually.
Is there, with Lord Reichland, any chance of knowing what that term black feather means?
Yeah, actually.
Okay.
Probably, it's quite a hard one because it's quite obscure. So I'm going to say -20 because it's very specific.
Yeah, absolutely not on the law Reichland, but yes on the call.
Failed my call.
Okay.
I massively failed mine.
Yeah, I failed my call as well.
Okay.
I passed my call.
So anyone who fails their call, she's almost intimidating in how sort of calm she is and how not forceful, but she has a real presence about her. You don't feel scared as such, and you don't feel like you're in danger. But you know, like Gladriel in the First Lord of the Rings, you know, she's very calm, but there is definitely like there's something about her. She exudes a real kind of authority. So for anyone who failed their call, you really do feel that upon you. Like, you know, she's really something. Did anyone pass their Reichland? Okay. It's you would assume it is something very specific to Shallya.
I think I've got an idea.
You would assume it's something very specific to Shallya.
I do say to her, I was like, it's not my baby to hold anyway. I don't think he understands what you're saying right now. But his house had icons for Shallya. I think he knew what he was looking for.
So Werner nods. And you see a kind of, he reluctantly hands over the cot. And she takes the cot from him and she peels back the opens the cot basically and takes the baby from it. And all of you can click the link now if you want to.
I don't think I've got the link.
Oh, it's in the chat. I put it in the thingy, just in the Zoom chat rather than the thingy
That's
chat.
creepy.
Oh, knock out.
No, no.
So cute.
I don't know how to see it. I'm guessing it's some sort of mutant child.
I'll send you a picture. I'll just show you on screen actually.
Yeah, mate.
I couldn't-
Oh, yeah. Hello, little gremlin. Yeah.
Yeah. So it has, it still looks human. It still looks mostly human.
I crush it with my mace.
You crush your mace. It looks mostly human, but it does have the kind of small nubs on its head. And it, in place of 5 fingers, it actually has 3. Sort of the 2 of the fingers are kind of melded together on each hand, with small talons on each side. It does have too much hair for what you think is about a 6-month-old baby. Although that's what he told you. You probably know that if the times that his wife died are true, then it's probably actually younger than that. It does have a couple of very sharp teeth that you can see in its mouth. And it is very clearly a mutant of some kind. It is not dissimilar to the Ungor that you fought in the forest. And she does explain, she says that if I can save the child and undo that which the winds of the north have done, then I can. We have done it before. But we will need a month with the child to perform the proper prayers and rites. And if it is not turned, then Shallya will decide its fate. Does anyone have anyone knowledge religions? Not a basic skill, is it? I don't think.
No.
Do a knowledge Reichland. Just a challenging one, actually.
Yeah, fail.
That's your basic stat handing, isn't it?
Yeah,
Sorry.
just basic stat.
Okay,
Yeah.
Yeah, I passed by 2, so I got a 4.
Oh, okay.
I passed by 1 degree.
Okay, so you all know that Shallya is about healing. It is about helping the sick and the afflicted, and about mercy and about saving lives. Like that is what Shallya is about. It is incredibly uncommon for them to heal, to be able to claim to be able to heal mutants or like turned children, for example. But you have heard of it in passing. Paul, you rolled really well, didn't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, so probably because you've travelled around, actually, there is actually a dedicated sort of cult of Shallya that are dedicated to healing mutants, basically. That is their purpose. They are not particularly well known, so how you come about that knowledge is totally up to you. And they're certainly not looked down upon, but they're seen as a little bit fanciful in that it's not something that can be done. But Shallians across the world are known to be completely about helping people. So she looks to you all. Can you all make a endurance test?
No, not remotely.
You've done one already.
Okay, that's good.
No.
I passed with 3 degrees of success.
Did anyone fail?
Okay.
Okay. We'll deal with that later. I mean, you have all just seen this is a mutant child, so like she's done speaking, you can react how you wish.
I just can't see what everyone else is doing.
Is the path clear to leave the temple?
The doors aren't closed.
I'm leaving the temple.
Yeah. What's anyone else doing?
Slowly follow Helmet, I think. Just be a bit like I'm not sure what to do, so I'm gonna
and she takes the child and she calls over one of the kind of less, as you're leaving out, she calls one of the other priestesses over. The other priest that comes over is old. She looks really old for a human. She looks very, very old. especially in Reichland, and she hands the baby to her. She says, "Mother, we have another one." And the old woman sort of takes the baby and sort of goes up, and she looks to Roll and she looks to Wern. We must tend to your wounds as well, for all lives are important to Shallya. Do you wish us to treat your wounds? Werner just goes, yeah. He doesn't. He steps up straight away. His head's pissing blood and he's in trouble. But she looks to you as well and Roll, and the sisters can treat you if they wish.
Please, yes.
I
do not understand what I've just seen, but I am hurt, and it will not do me well in fighting or riding if it goes untreated.
It will take some time, but we can do so. And Werner shouts Werner shouts out, Gerard will arrange your payment. As you're leaving, you see Gerard coming up. We'll cut that in a second. Anyone who's not really familiar, or just a reminder on the laws, mutants are outlawed in the Empire. It is massively illegal to have a mutant, to be a mutant, and they're all generally seen as evil because they're mutated by chaos. So the fact that they are here, that this child is here, if you are associated with it and that is found out, that you could possibly be in trouble. Just so you know the kind of the law around it. But equally, Shallya generally are actual good guys who do want to heal the world. They are nice. So Werner come. Sorry.
Francesca, have you had much successes healing black feathers before?
And she nods to you, and sort of as Tom's back, one of the sisters comes over, starts washing the wound for you. She says, "Not as much as we would like, but yes, it can be done."
It's just getting through the next few hours before the witch hunter leaves. Then
He has. I suspect he will leave. He was in a rush to get out of the city, the town, sorry, and I suspect that he will. After I've sent him away several times. If he turns again, he is more stubborn than many of his kind, and they are known for their stubbornness. So she's washing your wound, Tom. The water's some of the cleanest water you've seen. They kind of start stitching you up. Yeah. Yeah, you're fine. You don't die. I'm not gonna make a roll for it. Helmet and Bert, as you see Gerard outside, he hurries. He goes, "Oh, is the master well? Is everything sorted?"
I think he's being seen to. I think he seems content with what happened.
Good.
Arrange our payment.
Yes, of course, sirs, of course. And he pulls out a pouch. Actually, where you've seen him come from, you've seen the direction you saw him coming from was what you assume is the commerce area, the bank that we said. So he does pull out a large pouch, and he's, sirs, here you go. And he gives you the 12.5 each that was agreed. So enough for, well, he's actually given it to Helmet and Bert, Roald and Nehemiah inside. He gives you your two, and he says, "Are the other two inside? Should I give it to them in there?"
You can give it to us.
Of course, sirs. He hands you their coins, and he goes into the temple where he sees Werner being treated. Again, he turns to Nehemiah, "Thank you, sirs. Your payment is with your friends," and he sort of hurries over to Werner. Werner's very clearly his priority. So it's going to take a while for her to heal you, Rolled. She's going to have to stitch you up and cleans the wound and stuff. So it's probably about an hour or so of work to do it properly. So if you want to hang around, what do other people want to do?
What is that we cover? I've got something for you.
Get in here, you prick. I mean, you're welcome to. You could, if you want to try and find him. He did say he was leaving soon, but if you want to try and find him, you're more than welcome to.
Was that are you suggesting we find the witch hunter?
Shouldn't we?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
Right.
We could get in a lot of trouble.
Better than being found to. What if he finds out and he finds out we helped transport it?
Well, we didn't know.
Is that going to make a difference?
Well, I don't know. Why would we tell him?
Sorry?
Why would we seek him out and tell him?
Because that's a fucking mutant.
Yeah, but I mean, so if we were like guilty of anything, why would we seek him out and tell him we were guilty? I think we should tell him.
I don't want the Templars coming down on me because we helped transport a mutant child.
So you're going to tell her that you'd help transport a mutant child?
Well, not necessarily that we transported it, just that we might have seen it in there.
I mean, just to recap. Just, I'm happy for you to do whatever you want. You did walk up to him, carrying the guy and the baby. It might be difficult to explain that you didn't know him, but if you want to, please, you're welcome to. I just want you to have all the facts of, as far as he's concerned, you arrived with this guy who said, you arrived with this guy, you're all clearly warriors. This guy wasn't, and then you carried him into the temple.
We never know, though. That Inquisitor might fail the perception.
That is very
when
true.
It comes to it.
I never know.
Do you know what? He hasn't rolled any dice yet. You don't know. He could be thick, but you are. I just want you to be teed up with what. Just a reminder of where we were.
I'm just trying to think, what would Bert think, right? I could get in a lot of fucking trouble here. Just fess up. I'm not smart enough for this. I get suspicious. I get worried. I don't know, Helmet. I think.
So you two are deliberating outside. You can deliberate. Nehemiah and Rolls, you're kind of getting patched up inside. She explains it's going to take about an hour to fully clean your wounds and stuff. Because she's doing rites and stuff as well. It's actually a religious thing for her to be healing you. So it's not just stitching a wound like if you're on a battlefield. It's a process for her.
Wow, do you want me to say? Wow, do you want me to say?
Maybe he's muted.
Maybe.
Can you hear Tom?
Yes.
But Nehemiah is speaking to you.
Do you want me to stay with you?
Sorry. Yeah, I could barely hear you when you said that, so I didn't think you were addressing me. No, I will be fine here. I think I should be fine here with the sisters.
I'll go out.
If you need to go, go.
I'm just going to go check on the other two.
You have got.
I'll
lay back on the bed or whatever I'm on.
Yeah, you're on it's a very nice, like really comfy bed. It's a lot comfier than the bed you were in when you were in the coach place, actually.
That's good.
And you're being treated to by the one of the sisters of Shallya.
I don't know.
Probably
when you
doze away.
When you did that, I thought when you said I'd lie back on the bed, I just imagined you were on a waterbed. And I was like, really dirty.
Ooh.
Hey, you don't have to stay. I'm all right. I'm getting healed.
I didn't sleep much, so presumably.
Yeah, you might even start to doze off if you want to. It's pretty relaxing in here. It's nice. There's incense burning. There's some little chimes. It's lovely. Gerard does mention to you that he mentioned the name of like a local inn, basically, if you want to find somewhere to stay. But Nehemiah, you're going outside with these two, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, you can
just kind of sit there going.
Yeah, you can speak to those two. Well, these two idiots going, what do we do?
Well, gents, that was interesting.
One word for it. Damning's another word.
Yeah, heresy is another one.
The world is a very complex place.
Only if you make it complex.
Yeah. That was quite simple though. That was wrong.
Well, if the priestess can heal him, then
She's wrong.
it's been known to happen before. And you heard her words. Did you not believe her when she said if it failed, then the child would be no more?
No, she said
Yeah,
all the child could choose another life. What she said.
Sorry?
She said all the child could choose another life.
Well, I don't think that child can choose another life. That child can't choose anything, right? Maybe.
And she said it will stay with them until it
Okay.
is passed on to more. It chooses another life. A life of burning down cabins in the woods full of nice innkeepers. Guards.
I can give
Ruined a night's sleep of mine. Why? Ugh.
Choose life. Choose burning down cabins in woods. Choose chaos.
I don't know. I can't see a child of that age as anything more than innocent at this point in time. And if the healing works,
I can add horns.
How is Shallya going to get rid of the horns?
well, I don't know how Shallya's mistress works.
Now.
There is a lot of magic in this world.
Yeah, too much fucking magic.
You've spent a bit of time sort of arguing on the steps now, and I think the sisters. I mean, they're sort of. It's almost like you're disturbing them because you are getting a bit. You're arguing outside.
Let's go to a tavern. Have some Craig Davids.
Yeah, a few Craig Davids at the tavern. Okay, should we have a little 5-minute break there?
Sounds good.
Cool.
Yeah, cool.
Lol.
Okay. Rufflecopter.
Nice baby. Shame about the hordes.
I thought it was a cutie.
Could have left it in the woods.
Should have done. I thought they're going to throw this baby in the woods. Oh, nope.
Just toss it out of the carriage as we go past.
Fuck this.
Oh, see you in a sec.
Really? Because this video like happens like sitting right next to me. Trying to get up. I'm trying to work out how we got teleport to the glass. Yeah. Amazing. What's best is can't either. Too excitable.
Sounds like Mark's gone to the toilet.
Did you treat yourself? When you
I
went
mean,
to the
that's
toilet?
been a lot of things from you, but no.
Well, you know, when you treat yourself to a sit-down wee.
No, I'm a practical man.
Guess who's back? Right. All good?
Yep.
Oh, good.
Okay. Are you doing? Going to a tavern or something, or?
To eat.
Yeah, I'm suggesting we head towards the merchant district. Was it the merchant district or the warehouse district that the guy said the halflings hang out?
That is where you said the halflings hang out. Yeah.
The merchants. The merchants.
Okay. Just so that Tom doesn't miss it out, we'll assume that he gets healed up and can catch up with you, basically.
Like Russia, man. You've never met
Russia.
again.
Not Thelma Healing.
See that wrong. Okay, so yeah, you've been paid. You have your coin thing. You're heading to the warehouse district, yeah?
Yes.
Okay. So as you start heading to the warehouse district, you can see there's several. Again, it runs to quite near to the river. In fact, some of the larger warehouses actually go over the river. Obviously, the river is flooded at the moment, but it's obviously a common occurrence because there's been provisions made for that sort of thing. So they don't seem to be struggling with it. As you're heading closer, let me just pull up let me get my notes. So yeah, you can actually look at the package. You sort of, the warehouse you want to go to. It just, warehouse 6 is on the package, so you can make your way towards that if you want to go directly that way, or if you want to spend some time searching around. It's up to you.
Not really.
Yeah. Fair. So as you sort of head over to the warehouse you're looking for, you are met by the same halfling that you saw on the gate, and I'll get you a little picture of him so you can see him.
I bet it's a jolly looking fellow.
He is a jolly looking fellow. They're all quite jolly.
They were jolly.
They are quite jolly. Yeah, I'll show you what he looks like.
Was it a sign of the stuck pig? Was the one we were looking for?
Yes.
Yeah.
I chase him off.
You take. There you go.
Nice little hat.
Oh, from Baldur's Gate 2.
It is from Baldur's Gate 2.
Isn't it?
Is it? Yes. Yeah.
He's got a little hat on. It's a little. He's nice.
Excellent.
Sideburns. There we go.
Mate, he looks like he'll cut someone. That little halfling.
Yeah.
He doesn't look that jolly, but we'll cut you.
Yeah. So he comes up to you and he sort of sees you approach. He's quite friendly. He's got a big open smile. Like, halflings, they look friendly. They look like happy little children. He's got a big open smile, and he sort of opens his arms. He's like, "Oh, I figured humans were the ones that were meant to get old Aliosis's things here." He's a weird accent. Not sure where it's from. And he's like, "But Aliosis he was getting itchy feet waiting on you, and you don't keep Aliosis waiting, do you?" And he sort of nudges you in the knees. Just a little like. He goes, "Oh, I guess Brock gets to keep his kneecaps a little bit longer, though." He sort of looks a bit like serious for a second. Then he's like, "Oh, I'm just kidding, Lonshanks. Don't worry. Aloysius ain't like that now, is he? Anyway, let's go to my office and we'll make sure it's all in order." And he sort of starts scurrying off to his little office. And he like invites you into the warehouse. When you get inside, it's actually quite busy. You can see there's like there's several halflings going around. There's humans going around. There's actually a dwarf here as well, which is quite unusual. I mean, it's up to you whether you've seen a dwarf, but there is a dwarf here that you can say whether he's here all the time or if he's just visiting. Don't know. But there's a lot. There's sort of people are moving crates. Some of them are writing and counting like really officiously. Near the back of the warehouse, as you can see in the distance, you can see a group of humans who are loading crates onto like a small ferry that's just outside. And what looks like an older, like ginger halfling, who's taking a large pouch of coins from them, and he's shaking their hands. You can see scattered around there are what look like several looking like burly guards. They look pretty well armed, actually. They certainly look better armed than the town guards, and they look wary at you. And Cocker Lowhaven, who is the guy you've met,
Early halflings.
No, they're people. They're humans. They're all humans. They're people. Burly. They're burly humans, actually. They clearly look like paid muscle. There's no halflings that look like they're tooled up or anything. And Cocker kind of looks at them. He nods and waves. He seems quite friendly, actually. The ones who are loading the crates onto the ferry with the kind of older ginger halfling who's shaking their hands. Let's go with Tom. What do they look like? Where do they look like they're from? What part of the empire or outside the empire are they from?
Sorry, how many are there?
There is a small group of suitably narrative size for you to decide.
And they were
loading something from the warehouse onto the ferry.
Yeah, okay. So this small group, they're fairly sort of stout and burly people, mixed men and women amongst them. They sort of most certainly sort of have a sort of grubbier, sort of darker demeanor about them that would suggest, I think, to people of the Reich who know about the rest of the empire, they have the feel of Sterling folk about them. A fairly savoury and uncivilized part of the empire.
Yep, Sterling's not a particularly nice area. It's where the vampire counts live. They're very insular there. It's unusual. I mean, obviously they have traders, but it's unusual for them to go too far out. So okay. So there's a group of Sterlanders in the corner. All of you recognise them. It's unusual. They have a funny look about them.
Funny.
You what, Sturley? Oi, Sturley.
You're the fucking dwarf. Is he just visiting?
And they don't pay you attention, but it's unusual for them to be here. And Cocker like waves you. Oh, come on, come into my office. Come on, in you come.
Old Cocker.
Good old Cocker. So you go towards his office. It actually looks just like a massive storage crate that's just been turned into a room, basically, and just fixed onto.
Very London.
Yeah,
very London.
Oh yeah, it's like 800 quid a month, mate. It's and it looks like it's just been bolted to the outside of the warehouse. Doesn't look particularly. There's no really high. Like he's tried to make it look like an office, but it's very clearly just a massive, massive crate. There's a guard sitting outside on the chair in front of the door. She's armed with a blunderbuss, which is slung across her knee. Cocker tips his hat to her, nods to her, and she looks at the party up at you and scrapes her chair aside with like a deliberately really loud scrape across the floor. Once you get inside his office, it's not being converted into a office at all, really. It still just looks like a crate. It is full of shit. There is curios, there is tats all over the wall, there's little shelves, there's boxes. The only light that's coming in is from like a small flap in the roof. There's a couple of chairs in here, and there's what he calls his desk, which is just a box with a Mootland flag over it. And he goes and sits behind it. It's all halfling sized, so it's basically made for children. The ceiling's a little bit too low for you. It's fine for him. He sits behind his desk, and he looks around, and he sort of smiles to you all.
Sit cross-legged on the floor.
Yeah, that's fine for you. That's the sort of size it is. However, there's something specific in the room which draws your eye. Out of all the curios and the stuff he has on the wall, like the little shelves that he sort of bolted to the walls and stuff, and all the weird shit he has, there's something which is, for some reason, draws your eye. And I would like Mark to tell me what it is.
Okay, so in the corner of the room is what looks like a handle and part of a blade of a broken sword.
Yep.
At first, it sort of just looks a little bit sort of tarnished and stuff like that. But once you sort of look closer at it, you realise that there's sort of a weird sort of colour sift to it. It's like there's oil, like that weird sort of purpley green hue to it that doesn't quite seem to stay still. And sort of, again, it looks a little bit pitted, but it looks like there are sort of a language or markings carved onto the hilt.
Is it the whole? Sorry, is it the whole blade though? Or is it just the hilt?
No, it's like the handle and the hilt and part of the blade. It's a clear broken blade, yeah.
Okay, and is it like jabbed into something, or is it like sitting on a shelf?
No, it's just sort of looks like it's an ornament now, but it's yeah. So it wouldn't serve much
it's displayed quite proudly.
Yeah.
Okay. Is it human sized or halfling sized?
Human sized.
Okay, cool. So yeah, you'll see it. He's actually looks like he's actually cleared like a little bit of space to either side. He's sort of got that quite proudly on in the corner. And he looks to you all. You're the lads that old Brock sent then.
Yeah, there we are. Oh, there. Get the 2 parcels out and put them on his.
He looks at you. I go, he's going up in the world, isn't he? Well, he must be doing all right. We're paying him too much. And then he
shuffling my cards.
He looks at you. Yeah, we'll gamble after. Business first, then pleasure. And he sort of gets his little child hands. He's all, like really, he's got like overworked workers' hands, but the size of a child. It's quite like drags them across. He takes the first package, which was the first one that Brock gave to you. He starts opening it up. He kind of once he gets past the first layer, he then starts being quite careful with it. And you can see there's actually lots and lots quite tightly packed dried herbs in here. Does anyone have? No one's got medicine, have they? But does anyone have like outdoor survival or something?
Yes, I do. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's a basic.
Yeah, I think it's basic actually. Yeah. So yeah, everyone do an outdoor survival. Do them at just a standard test actually. So just +0.
I pass with 2 degrees of success.
1 degree of success.
I'm not even sure they're herbs. Nothing.
Okay. So did anyone pass?
Yes.
Yeah, 1 degree.
Okay. So anyone who passed, how much did you pass by, Tom?
2 degrees.
1 degree.
Okay, Mark. You know that they are definitely. You're not definite. You're fairly sure that they're not for healing. You've probably seen healing. You know, you've recovered stuff that's from healing herbs from feasts and stuff before. You've seen stuff like that. You know that they're definitely not for healing.
Yeah.
Tom, for whatever reason, you know that they're probably used in poisons. Maybe someone you've travelled with has taught you something like that before. But you know they're actually probably used for poisons. But there's a couple of things you don't recognise and you're not sure what they would be used for. But again, you're still sure they're not for healing.
So they were leaves, weren't they?
Yeah, they're herb. There's collections of herbs, generic fantasy herbs. You know they're not for healing. You know some of them are for poisons, and the other ones, just having a good time probably. And he's like, "Oh, good," and he passed. It was 5 shillings, wasn't it? They agreed for that parcel. That was. I actually can't remember what we agreed.
If he says that's what we agreed, then yeah, we'll go.
I think it was.
I can't remember either.
I'm pretty sure it was 5 for this one.
1,000?
1,000 shillings. And he passed. He doesn't. He makes no effort. Like he's not trying to swindle. He gives you your 5 shillings. 1, 2. He counts them out. Right, there you go. And then he takes the other one. And it's quite weighty. I mean, for him, it's heavier than the other one. And he unwraps it. And as he unwraps it, just a smell hits the room, which you hadn't noticed before because it had obviously been wrapped up and packed. And it is the smell of dead flesh. And he opens it, and inside is a hand. And he takes it out, and it's just what looks like a human hand inside. And he sort of turns it round curiously. And then he looks back and thinks there's a letter in there. And he sort of quickly opens the letter up, picks up the hand, and then he puts it in like a little chest behind him, locks it in, and he says, "Well, boys, a deal's a deal. You've clearly got some guts inside you, and I am sure me and Elolius can find you some work in future. We might have some need of some talent like yours in a few weeks if you're interested. If you can keep your noses clean until then, obviously. You come and see me then, and we'll see what we can do." He looks at you. He goes, "Sorry?
Couple of weeks.
Give us a few weeks. Well, you come and see me. We'll see what we can do. Now, you get out of here because I've got prepared to get this thing shifted, right? And I'll be watching you boys, so don't do nothing silly, eh?" And he gets another pouch, which has got 20 shillings in it, which is for the hand.
Yeah.
And he goes, "I'll be speaking to you lot soon, all right?"
Sure.
And
Head out. I guess the other one's going to show us out.
Sorry, I've lost you a bit.
I'm saying, is the other halfling sort of gesturing us to follow him to show us out, is he?
He has one of the guards take you out, basically.
You give a coy smile at the female guard as we go past.
Yeah, do you know what? She gives you a wink. She gives you a little. She's right. She goes, "Oh, hello." She's used to these weird little halflings and burly face. He's like roguish looking outsiders turned up. She's like, "All right." And that is where we're going to end the adventure, or this part of it. Because that hopefully can open up to what you want to do for the next bits. But I say end of the adventure. I mean, would this be like a break point in the story so we can spend our experience and stuff like that?
Right, okay, and then we'll work out what we want to do next. Because I'm assuming we're not just going to sit around for 2 weeks. We're going to do stuff.
It's up to you. You can do stuff if you want to do stuff now. What I think would be good is if in the next couple of weeks you sort of decide as a party what you want to be doing, and then I can work out where that's going. So obviously you've got stuff in Kemperbad still. So you've got the I know, Paul, you said you wanted to look into the gang that was there. Yeah,
I did. And I want to speak to the priest of Moore again after that 6th Sense dream that I had as well.
Yeah, so you've got stuff there if you want to investigate stuff there. You've obviously found out about the Temple of Shallya here, and the witch hunters offered any information on it, so you can go to Deesdorf and find out stuff there. You can look into stuff in the temple if you want to.
You could hunt the Ugama flips.
There's the bank heist we need to plan.
You can plan the bank heist if you want to.
That would, by the way, that would be a great table.
That would be a good. I mean, that'd be really good.
As play bank robbers, you've got to rob banks.
Or obviously you've got the low haven. You've got the.
Oh, is it frozen?
Yeah, my connection's got it. My connection's going to be funny. Or obviously you've got the low havens, which are the halflings where you can go and do stuff at those if you want to. So this was to kind of go, here's some plot drops.
Is there a temple
Whichever ones you want to
in
follow.
most cities? Town.
Is there a temple of more in most cities?
Yeah, in town.
Is that?
Yeah.
My connection's gone really shit.
That was the question. Is there a temple of more in most
Yeah.
towns?
Maybe not a temple, but most would have what is a garden more, so like a kind of graveyard area. There would generally be a representative of more,
Okay, cool.
in most cities. Yeah, there'd be that. So yeah, I think just if you sort of decide amongst yourselves what you want to do next, then I can plan around that.